year,
Mm-hmm.
up to that, and
Okay.
then go down a whole step.
Okay. Over and over?
Yeah,
It's just those two?
That's the same thing. You just go back up to that one.
Okay. Okay.
Then you go down.
Okay. I don't know why I couldn't. Oh my God. See, look, I told y'all.
What's going on, y'all? I know it's been a while since I've been here. Y'all know what time it is, though. It's Shannon Jackson with After Hours. I got my mans with me today. You want to introduce yourself a bit?
I'm Darren Jones. I'm a guitar player. I'm a musician. I'm all of the above.
All of the above.
Anything that has to do with music, I'm doing it. And oh my God, look at somebody.
We got people.
That's insane, dude. Oh my God.
We do it live. What he say on the news, we do it. We'll just do it live.
Right.
And this is a part of this is a part of the creative process.
Exactly.
So, first thing you said was all of the above. What would you put in that space outside of if you couldn't identify as a guitar player? This is my progressive liberal question right here. If you couldn't identify as a guitar player, what of that above would you next identify as?
I'm just a person.
Uh-huh.
Just a human. So I know a lot of people say music basically I think is designed to keep me disciplined.
Okay.
Like I think in all things in life, especially with hobbies, you got to find something that gives you a little purpose. So right now I'm in a season where music is keeping me a little bit together. Like I've been, you just came to my show yesterday. So I've been working on my diet. I lost 30 pounds.
Shout out.
So just stuff like that, just so I can continue to play live and not be out of shape and look at pictures like, oh my God, look at you, dude. So that's where I'm at. Like it keeps me focused, like mentally, like I gotta stay sharp and remember my notes, remember the songs and stuff. So yeah.
Before I get to a statement you made that I want to hit on, we are in the lovely Style Pop Cafe located in between downtown and the 3rd Ward, South Side in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. The owner is my friend Roche Brister. She graciously allowed us to podcast here. You could probably see her neon sign right here. We have her coffee, which is really good, light roast coffee that she makes, and her creamers. Anybody who drinks Style Pop knows about the creamers that she makes from scratch. So shout out to her. She'll be coming back in a little bit. She may come talk to y'all. She may not, but we are in Style Pop Cafe shooting this right now. You said something. Just a human.
Mm-hmm.
What makes, I believe that human nature is the most precious thing that we have.
For sure.
It's our identity as far as me being able to have autonomy in the world and the space that we live in. I have human tatted on my wrist for that particular reason, because I want people to respect my humanity when I walk into a space. So when you say you're a human first, outside of being a guitar player, kind of what is all involved in that statement?
So that's a big one. That it took a while for me to find that out. Because you get so engulfed in music is everything. Like it's the only thing that I know I want to succeed in. A big part of my day-to-day was music because I went to high school of arts. So, that's what we do Monday through Friday. And then even on the weekends, you don't want to come in on Monday and suck. Mm-hmm. So you continuously kind of ride the high of I'm good now, but I never wanted to be less than that. So when you are creating to survive, then it's kind of like, okay, this is not it anymore. Like it's not even fun. It's just, this is what I'm good at, and people don't even identify me outside of this any other way. This is music. So to get to the point of being a human, you kind of got to get lost in it a little bit just to kind of know where you at. Like I'm dependent on this to survive, or I'm dependent on this to make my mood happy or whatever. And that's why I said I know in this season, I know it's to keep me disciplined, because I want to be good. So in order to be good, I know sometimes you got to go above and beyond. Like I got to watch my diet. Like anyone that knows me know I've been eating weird for years. Like I've been a vegetarian. So, yeah, I've been fasting and stuff, like just finding all types of different stuff to honestly get me a little closer to God too, within myself, just making sure I'm right. So, yeah.
We talked a lot about in our pre-production meeting, creating to survive, and how we both feel about that, and sometimes how it can take away the love for creation because it has a deadline or a bill due or something on the back end of it. How long or when did you see that trend kind of starting for you, where it went from creating to get better, or creating to push your limits, or creating to release something, to creating to survive on a day-to-day basis?
It's so I've had a few different experiences with that, but each one is different. Like, oh my God, we're in a public forum, and I don't really do interviews. Nobody really knows anything about me, but I've just done projects with people and stuff like that, and it either turned out good or it didn't turn out great, and then sometimes it's hard kind of living with that. Like, damn, we put this much effort into this thing, and either we fell off, or the project didn't work, or it didn't sound how we thought. So then that's kind of a part of the being good thing, is you always expect the first thing you do is to be the best. Like, oh my God, this is heat right now. I know in the back of my head, this is fire. I know when I drop it or whatever I do, people are going to love it, but it's not always the case. Sometimes you got to go through the human part to be like, whoa, like, and then when you go back and look, you kind of really enjoy it. Like, that is a good piece of art that I thought was finished and is not. Mm-hmm. So that would kind of bring me to my first album, The End of Autumn, which I just kind of was writing in my room, and I put it out, and you can kind of tell, like, the auto-tune, the vocals was off a little bit in spots, and like the guitar, you could tell like it was definitely a first album. You can definitely for sure tell. So, yeah, I just got a little lost in that.
Speaking about music,
okay,
and albums and things that you've created, I want to see how you feel about something when you hear these words. I'm just reading them, obviously.
Okay.
Oh, baby, where are you? I will always love you from afar.
Oh, wow. Okay. So you want me to explain it?
Yeah. So when you heard that, what immediately were you feeling?
So a lot of the times, every time I've written a song, it mostly started off with guitar, and then I just kind of hummed along to kind of find it. So in that instance, that's just how I heard it. Like, some of the songs, they don't necessarily really mean anything. They do, but they don't. It's just the tone of it and how it sounds, and then that's how I form the meaning of the song. Like, I don't go into it like, today I'm gonna write a song about this purple hat that's sitting across from me. You know, you just kind of go into it. But then that one is just mostly about loving somebody that is far away, whether it's distance or the physical. Like, you're sitting right here, but I don't really feel you, but I'm gonna love you though, wherever you at. So yeah. Was
that new? That's something?
New.
Okay,
that's new. I wrote that. Oh my God, I wrote the loop for that song is an old guitar loop that was sitting in my phone that I recorded in my closet, and so I just sat on it, and then I went in a writer's rut. Like, I had a really hard year last year, so I didn't write anything, and then that was the first thing I wrote. And so 53 means you have 52 weeks in a year, and then 53 is the start of the new one.
Okay.
So that's why it's 53, but yeah.
When I have people on that write lyrics, whether they're writers or they're singers, I always like to read lyrics back to them. Mm-hmm. And normally it's something older, or like some of the first stuff that they wrote, and then you kind of just take them back.
Right, for sure.
To where they were when they penned it, or when they were whatever. So when you sent me that, I knew I was going to find a way to work it into the discussion, because as a writer and somebody who's, you said, had a writer block for a while, and you have to take pieces of yourself to put into the music.
Yeah.
How do you recover from that?
I don't know. That's a question that I never had before, but I think once you remember where you were, you don't really remember how far it was. Like that song, I remember I wrote that song at is it Menominee Falls Park? I wrote it whatever park is in Menominee Falls. I wrote the song at the park, and so I just remember it being semi warm cold because it was like kind of August sea fallish kind of, and I just remember sitting at the park with Vita, my dog, in the car, and just writing the song, and it just was frustrating me because I loved the loop, and it was just like, what do I do? And then I formed the lyrics and everything, and so I remember the time that I wrote the song, and it's just like it does feel as if it's far away, but it wasn't. It was less than a year ago. I remember recording it. So you just remember the process. Like I remember certain parts of the song where I couldn't sing the notes right. So I remember I looped this part, and I just remember little stuff about the song. So I don't know. Maybe for me, I go into it already healed. I would hope so.
So a lot of your music doesn't come from a place of dumping. It comes from a place of just, I know you say you start with a guitar and you start with some melody and you hum through it, and then it kind of just like takes you on this journey, I would imagine. Yeah,
for sure.
So it's like a finding when you're writing music.
It's fun. It's really fun. You don't even know you're creating. You're just trying to, it's like a bothersome thing, but it's not like, I can't find the word. What's the word? And then you go back and you find it, and you just keep going piece by piece kind of.
So is there any music you're working on now?
Yeah, I'm working on like an album, EP thing, whatever. I don't know.
It don't have. They put out Drake put out a playlist once.
Right.
So
yeah, I'm working on something. I was a little bit afraid to. That's another thing I'm finding myself into is I was afraid to do the rock stuff because I thought people would think like, oh my God, why is he doing this rock stuff? But that's always been me. So I'm just gonna. If it's not rock, it's been kind of folky. And then it's always been kind of jazzy too, and so you could probably tell in the song.
Most definitely. It has a what do I want to call it? I write sins, not tragedies. Feel to it.
Okay, for sure.
Just not as power chord big, but just kind of in lyric and in kind of like the storytelling part of it. You know what I'm saying? So. As somebody who finds himself all over the musical spectrum, how were you able to find comfort in a genre that us as Black people don't normally find ourselves in?
Right. That's tough because, like I said, like I was nervous to bring it to the world. Like even though I sat in my room and I created it and I made it, like some of the songs that I've written do have a lot of meaning, and it's like I don't know if I'm ready to share this, like it's a rock song or it's a folk song. It is kind of scary, like, are you gonna judge me? So I just know at the end of the day, I know what I want to put out now. Like I want to put out something that sounds like Darren. And so it's just going to sound like everything. But right now it's definitely more folky, rocky, rock star kind of thing, for sure.
So when you're playing, the band that you were playing with, y'all travel together? So you play with them a lot. When you find yourself in, I'm going to call it unfamiliar territory, as far as not with them, how do you find space in a band with people that you don't normally play with?
Oh, that's easy. I mean, you get to a certain level of musicianship where it's just like, this is fun. It's really jamming. I guess in a professional setting, that's for people who read. Like to be super organized like that. And there's a skill and a place for that too. But I just think there's nothing better than a good old jam, which can get funky, it can get rocky, it can get loud. Sometimes you can't hear, and then sometimes you're just in the middle, like I can't hear anything, and everyone is better than me. So, so I'm just gonna stick right here.
You just play play my part.
For sure.
I saw a video online where a guy was talking about you get better by playing with people better than you. And as somebody who doesn't play in public or with people ever, I can't fathom sitting with people and playing, people that know theory or know how to go from here to here, and they have a language and a conversation that they speak. I feel like I am not good enough to operate in that space. How did you work into when you first started jamming with people?
So a lot of that really did come from the church. Like, you know, you got to be at a certain level. It's always kind of, you want to get here. But as a kid, like I think I was about 11 when I first started out in the church. And so, so you learn the first kind of 4 or 5 songs, and you just think this is it. And then once you get around other people, they know stuff you don't know. And you want to be good. Like I just always wanted to be good. Like, I don't know, I guess it was just in me. Like, you got to be good. Like, why else? Like, I thought as soon as I wanted to be a guitar player, I was already a good guitar player. But you just learn little percussive stuff about the drummer. Like, oh, okay, every couple bars he might hit the hi-hat, so I might pick that up with my right hand, like a little something. It can be anything. Or the singer is doing a really good job singing this melody, and I might just underneath comp or something. So you just gotta find your spot and kind of sit with it. So when you said you weren't good, it's funny because you probably could sit in the jam and someone would be like, he's really good. You know, if I showed you a couple of things and you'd be like, okay, I can see how once you get so good, you can trick people.
I'm pretty sure, because in other spaces, like I play golf.
Okay.
And I picked it up a few years ago, and off the first tee is always the most nervous, because the first tee and then coming into either the 9th or the 18th, because it's always people around at the clubhouse. So when you teeing off first, especially in the summer, it's all kind of people around. The people teeing off behind you, the people who just finished on 18, people who just at the clubhouse. So it's always a crowd.
Right.
So if you hit a good tee shot off one, people like, oh, he liked that.
Yeah.
You don't really have to be. You know what I'm saying? That could be your best shot of the day. But you get a good tee on one, everybody there is like, oh, yeah.
And you got to keep that up, though. You definitely got to keep that up. Like that's the part, I think, of being a musician and an artist kind of clash. It's like, you as a musician, you can always be good, but as an artist, I got to create something that's got to stand out. But I don't know nothing about golf.
I always encourage people to play.
Well, I always thought I needed a certain amount of money first.
No, it's not a sport for people who don't want to spend money. But you can get into it without spending a lot of money. A lot of times, because I thought it too, where it's like, got to be rich to play golf.
But you got to be, I want to be good. Even if I play golf. So I'm going to think, dude, you got to have the flyest gear.
Got to have the flyest gear. Got to have the flyest clothes.
I got to have my hair cut when I go.
When you go.
Okay. The shoes.
Got to be together. Got to put it on.
Yeah, for sure.
So you said something about being an artist versus being a musician. Because like being a musician, you're just learning the music. I would imagine that would be somebody who learns to read music, or they stay kind of in the pocket, or they stay on time, or like the technical parts of being a musician. So being an artist, what would you say is timeless? Like when you're creating music or when you're creating things, because obviously timeless is subjective.
Right.
But if you were creating something that you felt, I feel good about leaving this and letting time tell the tale on whether or not it was good. What do you think would go into something like that?
A really good accident.
Explain.
So with 53, I'm gonna just keep going back to that. So with 53, that was the start of a brand new process for me, as far as I had just came out of writer's block, and once you get out of writer's block and you get back in, you kind of can remember how you used to do stuff. So I kind of forgot. I'm not even gonna lie. Like I had a lot of inspiration too when I got back in. Like, I had been listening to a lot of Nirvana, and I had been listening to a lot of John Scofield. So, I can't even remember the album is whatever album he put out in like 1989 or something like that. But he's got a song on there, and it sounds so off key. And I always used to look at that as a foreign concept. Like, dude, there's no way that the notes can be warped and people will think it sounds good. So when I 53 is a loop that already existed, and it was old, and I didn't even know what key it was in or nothing, because it was just sitting there. So everything that's on it, you build it from scratch. It's customizable. So the solo on there is really weird from any other thing I would do. It's a little off key. It's a little bit hesitant. And so in that process, it was an accident. Like, I just literally was creating. I had heard some stuff John Scofield was doing, and I wanted to be good like him. So I was like, well, I guess I'll just kind of be a little bit off key. And honestly, I listened to 53, but I don't interpret it how anyone else would. Like, I don't know if it's timeless or not, but only time would tell. But it's an accident. Mm-hmm. I went in that in there making that song, thinking that it was gonna sound like how the demo did, and it sounded totally different.
Since we're talking about music and soloing and things, I think this would be a good time to play our little game.
For sure.
You down?
Let's do it.
All right. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna play you a progression.
Okay.
In, I believe it's F.
Okay.
And I'll play it a couple times. I'm gonna tell y'all this because this is intimate. Y'all know my guitar playing is intimate. You feel me? I don't normally play on camera. I don't normally play with people or nothing like that. So it's not going to be perfect, but I'm stepping out here too. So I'm going to play you this turnaround. I'm going to play it a couple times, let you hear it, put something together, and then we'll do a little improv.
Okay.
All right. So grab your guitar.
Okay.
And we will see how this goes, because I'm going to keep talking to them while you do that. I really want to see... No, it's okay. As he walks past, I really want to see how his mind puts things together, because it's easy I wouldn't say it's easy, but people can put together progressions and different things when they have time. But we'll see how he does, which I'm feeling he's really a good guitar player, so I'm sure he's not going to have no issue doing this. But I'm just excited to see kind of what he does with this. And this is a song that people may know if you listen to soul and R&B. So we have a guitar is very vulgar. I hope we No, it's fine. Tell us about her or him.
So this is all guitars should be girls, huh?
I believe that. Like,
where's my okay, so this is my Fuck Racism guitar. So I bought this guitar maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, and so I always knew I was gonna sticker it up. Mm-hmm. And I just went crazy with it, I guess. It's got, so obviously, oh my gosh, they can still hear me, right?
Yeah, they can still hear you.
So I got the Fuck Racism, obviously. I got Idiot Repellent. This one is Buddha saying, it used to say, you need to let that shit go. It's a bunch of weed references on here. And then the back, it's Nirvana's. I love Nirvana. The 2 Chainz Trap House. Wish You Were Here, but he's dead. So as you can see how it can get a little. Don't be a Karen. Send nudes.
Don't be a Karen and send nudes.
And this one here is very important. Tears for my haters. But yeah, I just kept putting stuff on here, and it just people love. Oh, it's a raw cone in here.
Okay.
Stuck in the corner, but it's a rock and roll machine, dude. I love this guitar for sure.
All right. So now it's my turn. My guitar
Don't
is
be nervous. I'm not that good, man.
it's now nowhere near as elaborate as his. This is my second one.
Okay.
I had a Les Paul first.
What?
And I went and got this Squire.
What happened to the Les Paul?
It wasn't a Les Paul and brand. It was just like the style of guitar. It was for what I was doing or what I was trying to play, more like soul, more like R&B, jazzy stuff. It just was heavy.
They're not good.
You know, it's
that.
heavy.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I went and got a Telecaster, and it's like, all right, I'm gonna stick with this for a bit. So
disclaimer, good choice because I hate Strats.
So no Strat.
No Strats.
All right, so let's see what we got.
Or something kind of.
Yeah. And then it's the I don't know what's the first chord. Is that what is that called?
It's something I can't think.
Yeah.
Right
so it's that same thing. You just up a hole.
Yeah, go ahead.
So it's here.
Mm-hmm.
Up to that.
Okay.
And go down the whole step.
Okay. Over and over?
Yeah,
It's just those two?
That's the same thing. You just go back up to that one.
Okay. Okay.
And you go down.
Okay. I don't know why I couldn't. Oh my God. See, look, I told y'all.
Yeah. So you start on the lower, and then you, yeah, there it is. There it is.
Okay. We in business, y'all. So
We in
cut
business.
that all out. Just go to this part right here. Okay, so I knew it the whole time.
There we go.
So in that, it's so chromatic. Oh my gosh. And this is a song?
Yeah.
Whose
Frank
song?
Ocean, Songs for Women,
Okay.
on the Nostalgic album.
What's the cadence of it?
I think it's 4/4. Yeah, so it's like you let it. The first one ring to mute, boom, doom, 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 doom.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. I don't even know what I would do to this. So
Yeah.
So if we were in a jam session, and so this is the point where I would get lost. Like, I don't know what I would do over this. So the discipline part of the musicianship is knowing this is probably my limit. So whatever you hear, I just want to make sure I keep that consistent enough for someone to hear it and it doesn't sound out of place. So that's literally constantly. Oh.
Let me see if I can keep that part, even though I'm not plugged in. So how the timing will be is like.
Okay. So I will make sure that's consistent in the loop. Remember that as a somebody learning, you always want to make sure no matter what your loop is consistent, no matter the timing. Like you want to hear all of the notes fluently in the no matter. I guess you get so good at it you can kind of hold it anyway. Mm-hmm. But you find your hand. So over that, I'll just outline the chord. They always say that, but you can just as long as you do that, then. Now it might not. Now in this, I'm not trying to play it for song's sake. I'm just showing people, no matter what. I was just explaining this to my best friend that this I don't want to get lost. That's another reason how I got good. So I know just that chord alone, I get back to my no matter what, and I. No matter what, I know I work around that. Okay. That's why chromatics is weird for me because when it get all scrambled, I'm really bad at that. But I never heard the song, but that's fun. That take that away, like coming in and stuff, not knowing things. You find what you already know to make sure you're consistent and you're good, like it, and it sounds good, and you're serving the song. That's pretty much it.
That's how you would do it.
Serve the song.
Serve the song.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Let's talk about that a little bit. Grab your mic for a little. Okay. We may come back to some playing. But how important is it to? I'm guessing when you say serve the song, you're talking about the integrity of what the song was supposed to be.
For sure. For sure.
Explain the importance of that.
So, when you hear a song on the radio, it has distinctive parts, like even down to sometimes the musician's hands, like how they sound on the fretboard, like it might be a screech or something, or like a missed notes, especially back in the old days when they used to record on tape, like it might be missed notes. So you just find little things and nuances about the record, like repetition is the father of learning. So you hear things so many different times, you know what to expect, you can anticipate, you can. That is the true seasoned musician. Like I know this record, and so even I've fallen short. Like I don't know the record. Like, and I'm on this gig, and this is embarrassing for me. But at the same time, it was a learning experience. Like, when you come into the record, you can be good. Knowing the record, you can be good like these guys, because it's not that they're not special, but because they put so much time and work into it, that's where the special came out. Is you can see like, okay, they really know their stuff. So, yeah. Because
we all have our different sayings in our own different spaces. Like for a writer in film, it's like, don't overwrite. Or like for a director, it's like, direct for the actor you have, not the actor you feel like you want. And like all these things. So I've never heard somebody say, as my playing, I want to serve the record. It sounds selfless. Mm-hmm. And
don't get me wrong. I'm very selfish.
You said, first of all, don't get it twisted. But from a standpoint of, I'm trying to just like represent what's going on here in a way where it feels right. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I feel like that's an interesting way of thinking about it, because I've never heard somebody kind of talk about it in that fashion. Mm-hmm. When you're on stage and you're playing, because I've seen you play. I see you play on Sundays, but in a performance where it's not particularly worship and you're kind of doing your thing in that, like when you're performing, how do you get into a space where I know I'm going to try to leave the fans here with an experience? Mm-hmm. How do you want them to experience you on stage, whether you're singing, whether you're singing lead, background, whether you're playing? Mm-hmm. Like, how do you want the fan experience to take away from what you're putting up there?
I always thought the best guitar players looked cool as fuck.
which they do.
Like it's just something about them. Like not everyone has it, and even if I do have it, I wish I had more of it because you just want to look cool. Like it's the guitar has always been a cool guy like instrument. So on stage, like it's, I always wanted people to look at me, even if it was wild. Like I in some way, like the guitar, like you're gonna look and read it. Like I had a guy last night, just I could tell. You know, sometimes you get
lost in it.
Oh yeah, sometimes you play up north, and you know how Wisconsin is, so you get some funny looks, but it's like I'm here, so now what? Yeah, so it's just it originally came from me getting really nervous before shows, and then once you're there, it's either you're gonna do it or not. So and then sometimes I would get lost in, I'm gonna go all the way, and you go crazy, but you learn it's fun, but that's where it came from for me. I was nervous, and I was like, you either all in or you're not, and you want people to look at you, so do stuff that I got long hair, I got the guitars, you look cool, you sell it. So it's just the art of it that I'm in everything musical. So it's you want to look the part, you want to feel the part,
You talked earlier. You just said guitar players are cool, and I feel like in a band they are the coolest.
Yeah,
like they either got the outfit on or they have the swag. You talked about Nirvana. You talked about John Scofield, I think his name was. Who would you say was the guitarist that you wanted to most emulate?
Oh man, I don't think there was one I wanted to be like. That it was just so many. Like some of them sang, and that was my thing too. Was I was so nervous bringing out my artistic side because I had so many different influences. Like I liked Green Day, I liked Nirvana, I liked Jimi Hendrix, I liked Lil Wayne.
He had a guitar role.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, there's so many different artists that I liked as a kid. I liked so many indie bands, so many different things I can't even think of. It would be nostalgic to even hear it right now, but I just remember that no matter what, the guitar player in all the bands was cool.
Yeah, for sure. Part of the reason why I picked up the guitar, because I felt like if I would have been at my age in the 80s, I would have been in a rock band. Like I just know that for sure. I tell people that all the time, and they're like, "Nah, that don't fit your personality." I'm like, "No, I would have found a rock band to be in, and I would have played the guitar." And a lot of me picking up the guitar was because there are certain solos that I want to be able to play. Hotel California.
Okay.
Beat It.
Okay.
Still Got the Blues.
Okay.
By Gary Moore are like on the top of the list.
Okay.
Do you have any that you wanted to learn? I
wanted to learn the "Oh Love" by Green Day solo so bad when I was a kid, and there's a part in there where it gets a little wonky. He's fast, and I couldn't hear how the notes were. Like, dude, how do you do this? And I that was the first one, and that's a weird one. But because my music catalog was so diverse, a lot of that big solo-y stuff I didn't really get into until I was in high school, and then by that time I was analyzing more than being amazed. Like, okay, all right, I see where he went. Like, it got a little different, but the "Oh Love" solo, the "Beat It" solo is a good one. And
do you know that one?
I don't know it, but I know he did that shit in one take.
Crazy. Like,
but that's the accident. That sounds like a good accident.
I was listening to Luke, I can't think of his last name, and like some of the people that were in that recording session, they do a lot of podcasts and they talk about that session when Eddie came in and when they were recording. You could hear it even in the playback, somebody knocking on the door. Like there's a smoke detector that's going off in that joint.
And Beat It?
Yeah, bro.
Wow.
Like
okay.
when they point it out and you go back and listen to it, and it's like he came and laid that down in one take and then slid in like 20 minutes.
Right.
And I listened to it and I watch people play it. Like Beat It is a solo I could watch on YouTube all day long.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like, how did he sit there, or did he think about it? Did he just hear the song and say, all right, I got it? Or did he just go in there and kind of feel it? How would you have approached that? Say I am... Who can I be in this scenario?
You could be Michael. If you was Michael Jackson and they said come, and I know Paul Jackson Jr. is one of the best guitar players ever. And so that would immediately, he's been on so many Michael records, and that would immediately be intimidating, especially if Michael was alive and tomorrow, I need you on the song. It's like, how, fam, what do you mean you need me on the song?
Like, I need you to do this.
When someone says they need you, just be you. I guess that's the part where, that's learning how to be a human too. Is, dude, you go into it with all this anxiety and expectations. Like, just do it. Just go in, and if you're going to come out with something, somebody knows how to put something together to make you sound good. I just wanted to sound good.
So, say Michael is like, Darren, I got this song. Obviously, it's Beat It is not Beat It yet.
Okay.
It's just 1987 or whatever it is. He putting together that, what album was that? Thriller.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the Thriller album. And he like, yo, I got this song. I feel like I need a guitar solo. He plays it for you, and it's like, do something for me. How are you approaching that? I think it's like 40 seconds. How are you approaching that?
You got to go.
Being yourself, obviously, what you just said. Like, be you, be human. But how would you approach filling that 40 seconds?
Got to go crazy. Like, that record, sonically is fire. Even with all the mistakes in it, you wouldn't even know. I mean, you listen to it so hard, it still sounds timeless, flawless,
all that.
And you just gotta go crazy. Like, you gotta keep up with everybody on the record, and you gotta serve the song. So if the song says you gotta go nuts like the real original Beat It or anything, just you want to make sure I'm good, I'm fire. We serving the song. I did my part. I'm going into it like, okay, what do you need? Because I might be thinking I'm going ham and I need something smooth. It's like, you can't go smooth on this, Mike.
Not on that one.
But that you just gotta go. You just gotta rip it, and that's what he did. That I don't know too much about that, but I want to know what guitar he recorded that on. A lot of that is, I think, as a guitar player, when you go in and the guitar tonally sounds good, like the settings are just kind of, you just go. It just sounds good, so you get a good feel.
So speaking of it, pivoting a little bit, I hear guitar players talk about their sound, or when you watch videos and the comments are like, "How'd you get that sound?" Or "That sounds so clean," or all these different things. How do you go about doing that for yourself, for Darren? Like,
for me, I always liked really, really clean, warm guitars, especially from my hand. It always sounded good, and then I always liked a good overdrive and a tube amp. So that's all, and a Gibson.
Okay.
So you give me that, and I'm good. Like, that's staple. And to me, I like the tone of it. I like how they feel. It's super old, according to nowadays. Everybody using processors, but old school for sure.
So back to the basics.
Oh yeah.
I have one more thing to do, and then we'll wrap up our discussion. If I gave you a time and a key, what could you come up with?
Oh, it's anything.
Just like on the spot.
Anything. Come on.
Okay. Let's do 4/4 because it's more.
Man. Okay, don't give me timings. I'm bad with timings.
Okay, you're bad with timings.
Give me key and anything else. No time.
Let's go A minor.
Okay.
So we'll put it in A minor. I won't give you a progression. I'll let you decide what progression you want to use. But then let's make it rock. So let's do 2.
Okay.
Rock, I feel like you will be a lot more comfortable in. But what is a genre you're not comfortable in?
I don't know. Name some.
Blues.
I can do blues.
I'm sure you can do jazz.
Let's see. So, blues. And if I was doing jazz, this is a terrible. Oh my God, jazz people! I am playing jazz on a Kramer Beretta, and I am sorry. That's just a simple 251. It's kind of swingy, so I know in my 251 guitar players here, that's the shape. So I know here, I can just pentatonic all day because it's right there. And so then you can kind of choose. When I go here, I can go. So, or if you want to get rocky, you can make something up. Like even now, if I was writing a song, something like that. You just kind of find something, even though it sounds like a bunch of nothing. Or if you want to do some R&B, just two random chords. You just find. Something cool you can just kind of group. Like I just turned that into funk, R&B-ish kind of whatever. You just find stuff. Or if I want to do some something, you just pick stuff and get creative.
Yeah.
Even if it's off key or it's something different, like untraditional. So, yeah.
That was clearly awesome.
Oh, thanks, man.
So there y'all have it. This man is a guitar genius. So as we wrap this up today, we've learned a lot about kind of your process and how you go through and how you make your music, how you even kind of, it was so easy for you because it's processed to where now you're playing and then you're humming. And if we'd have kept playing a little bit, some lyrics probably would have came, and like just watching that process unfold so second nature is when you've reached a space where you just know. You just know what you're doing. You know how you create. Question: how do you stretch as far as, I know I'm good, but how do I get to this next place? Because like I said, I just watched you just get crispy with that, and it was second nature. But say you're like, all right, I need to, or I want to take this here. How would you expand that rubber band?
That takes time. Like right now where I am, like I might look back at this in 2 years and be like, dude, you could have did so much different stuff, like, but it's just who I am right now. So you just gotta create no matter what. Like even sometimes when I was even doing what I was doing, I'm like, I don't know, this might not even sound good. You get self-conscious, but I forgot to pick up my mic, y'all. We had a good thing going.
So that's just it. Just create.
Just create. Even for you, like I remember when I first started learning, I'd never wanted to get lost, and I always thought it was amazing to play a whole bunch of notes, but it ain't really about that. It's really just, can you serve the song, tone, placement. Placement is a big one. all types of stuff. And I used to teach little kids, so it's kind of hard to put that on them. Like, no, your placement's wrong, but they just want to have fun and learn little stuff, and their parents just want them to do stuff with their hands and learn stuff. So, yeah, man.
Last thing, a lot of people who watch this podcast or just podcasts in general that are about creativeness, there's a lot of things that they know.
Mm-hmm.
They've heard it. They've heard a lot of our cliches that we talk about. What's one thing that you want to leave with people that you feel like is just that little ingredient that can take what they're doing or reignite the fire? It's just like, I like to speak in metaphors.
Mm-hmm.
Barbecuing,
Mm-hmm.
and people think that you just need get like a little bit of lighter fluid to get the fire back on, but it's really opening up the letting some air in.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that will set that. So what is that air on the fire for somebody who's like, man, I'm giving up, or I've hit a rut writing or
Mm-hmm.
photography
Mm-hmm.
or fashion
Mm-hmm.
or just whatever. What is one little gust of wind that you can put on somebody's fire?
I remember, I don't know if this is from trauma, but I always wanted to be number one, no matter what. Like if somebody wrote the best poem, I want to write the best poem because I want to be cool and I want to have the best poem. And I don't know if it's first child syndrome because I'm my mom's first, but I'm my dad's youngest. So I don't know if it's first child or youngest child syndrome and or what, but I always wanted to be number one. And I just remember the days where I had really bad days, just remembering that they were probably right then if I just quit.
Mm-hmm.
So you just gotta find something. Like if somebody played a song and put it on Facebook better than me, I would get mad. If somebody did some promo better than me, I would get mad. If somebody had a guitar I didn't have, I would just find something. I want that. So you might be better than me just because you have it, but you just gotta find something like that will make you tick enough to get back in mode. And then once you get in mode, that's it. Everything that happened, every thought that got you there, drug you there, you done prayed, cried. This is the moment that you build up to get to wherever moment it is. Just get there. It'll come. If you got to build a team, if you got to quit and start over again, if you got to cut your hair off and do it again, if you got to go stay at your mama house and get it together, if you got to leave your girl, leave your guy, if you got to, like, what is any means necessary? Do you really want to be the best for real? Or are you is this just for show? Because then once it's for show, it's just like, I'm upset because I'm not getting validation. Like, no, I'm not good enough. So I got to get to my moment. That's it.
I agree with you. There's a lot of ways to get there, but you got to get there
For sure.
Like, you got to get there, and a lot of it is, and this is my thing. I'm gonna tell y'all because I gotta leave y'all with something too. Because obviously, it's just niggas better than you because they work harder than you. And niggas better than you because they work smarter than you.
Yeah.
Like, that's really what it comes down to. We want this magical formula where it's like, if 1 + 1 can equal 2, then I'll be fine. It's like, no, that nigga is working harder than you.
Yep.
While you snoozing your alarm, Shorty is getting up.
Yep. Yep.
While you are not picking up your guitar for 3 weeks, he is picking his up every day.
Mm-hmm. You can only not pick your guitar up for 3 weeks if you get so good that it's second nature, and I need to not play to get better. And I know that sounds insane, but sometimes taking a break like that is good. But don't.
Not when you
for
learn.
For the people learning.
Where you learning, gotta put up shots, gotta put up reps, the right kind of reps.
Yeah.
The right kind of shots.
And there's no right kind of. Like, there's no right kind of diet. There's no right kind of practice regimen. Like, just find you in it, and then it'll be there.
I watched this guy's name is Marty Schwartz.
Marty.
Yeah. Shout out
oh
to
my
Marty.
God, Marty is the GOAT, dude. Marty done taught me.
Hey, He done taught me a lot. He was like, "Yo, sit at the TV or whatever when you doing unplug your like if you get an electric. Obviously, if you got an acoustic, it's gonna be loud. It's like, why you watching TV? Just play your scale, or just like fret your chord shapes.
Yeah.
Work on your dexterity. Like
Yep.
you can do it while doing something else. But like you said, if you want it, you gotta go get it, and there's no time for excuses. Appreciate you, my boy. This is Darren.
Anytime, man.
Hopefully we can get him back at some point.
Anytime.